Hello, I'm Revolutionising, and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air, we've got you covered. At least one person was killed and 13 injured after Russia bombed a nursing home in the northeastern city of Sumy. During a strike, a Russian-guided bomb hit a 5-story building, according to the local officials. Russia also attacked energy infrastructure in the northeastern region, causing temporary disruption to supply, according to Ukraine's national grid operator. Also, an elderly woman was killed and 2 other people injured in attacks on the southern Zaporizhia region. Russian forces shelled the region 161 times over the past 24 hours, damaging infrastructure and residential buildings. In the Kursk region, a Ukrainian offensive operation is still ongoing. Kiev forces recently marginally advanced within Glushkovo and Korenevo. Also, Russian forces reportedly advanced in Nikolaevo-Daryino and Daryino settlements. In the eastern part of the front, Russian forces have not been able to break through the right bank of the Zhuravka River and are now mainly engaged in the formation of their flanks. Recently, Russian forces tried to break into Marinivka, but their attacks have been repelled, and in fact, the Ukrainian defense forces hold a very important position there. Marinivka is quite significant because if it were occupied by the Russians, it would open up the possibility of direct entry into Sieledove from the north, and the Russians would not only press from the east, trying to enter the city along the river itself, but also from the northern direction. As for Sieledove itself, in terms of the advancement of Russian forces from the east, they continue to fight head-on against the defense barrier that was created along this line and are unable to enter the city itself or gain a foothold there. Now moving on to the Middle East, where Israel launched extensive airstrikes in southern Lebanon overnight, hitting over 100 Hezbollah rocket launchers and other terrorist sites, including a weapons storage facility. Lebanon's national news agency reported 52 Israeli strikes, while militants based in Lebanon also targeted military sites located in northern Israel. Our regular viewers are well aware of the importance of drones on the battlefield. The video we are about to present on our show displays how effectively drones are used to eliminate live and mechanical targets alike. The war in Ukraine undoubtedly confirms the revolution that drones have brought to the modern battlefield. The obvious thing in war is that if there is a means of destruction, the technology of countermeasures must also be developed. The war in Ukraine has become, unwittingly, a modern testing ground for new countermeasures. NATO countries have learned their lesson and, together with Ukraine, are today completing a series of joint tests of anti-drone technologies. Representatives from 18 NATO allies and Ukraine gathered in the Netherlands to test the new counter-drone technology systems. Let's have a look at this short video summing up the achievements of these tests.
Together with NCIA, we organized this exercise. There are scientific institutes, industry and the military working all together in order to counter the strong evolving drone threat, which is apparently all around us.
It's very challenging to counter those drones here nowadays, and that's why we are here, to learn how to effectively run counter-UAS operations in order to limit an adversary's ability to conduct UAS operations against us. We invited industry here to use this NATO standard, to connect together and to reach interoperability in order to make sure that different industry from different countries are speaking the common language.
Well, the entire exercise is all about interoperability, so that means that different subsystems can communicate with each other in order to make a decent counter-drone capability. We need to work together to give an answer to that threat. Otherwise, we'll be too late and it will hamper also us in our operations.
And staying on the subject of drones, sadly, witness the irony, the Russians have no one to practice with or to exchange counter-drone technology with. Let's have a look at the brilliant work of the soldiers of the Ukrainian 4th Security Battalion of the 101st Separate Brigade. And basically, this is an example of how the Russians might be learning about drones and counter-drone technologies the hard way. Speaking of drones and new technologies, Ukrainians are clearly using them to their advantage. The next video we're about to show you basically displays something that is not quite as common on the Ukrainian battlefield as regular drones. In fact, this drone is based on land. But despite this, it is going quite strong, actually, despite not being able to take to the skies and attack the enemies from above. So let's have a look at a Special Operation Forces unit confronting Russian forces in Volfino, Kursk region, using this novel type of technology. And for our last feature, we are staying in the Kursk region, where the Russians are claiming to have achieved advances. Well, it certainly appears not to be so easy for them. The modern battlefield is an area where intelligence, modern technology and heavy firepower meet. Let us see how the Ukrainian 22nd Brigade eliminates an entire group of soldiers and vehicles using a combination of the aforementioned assets of the Ukrainian army. And so this episode of Military Mind comes to an end. Next deployment at the same time tomorrow, and in the meantime, please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and features.